Welcome to Let's Get Acquainted. I'm so glad to have you here today. As you come in, please make sure that you let me know who you are and where you're coming from. I'm excited because this is my first show for June. And so now we're working with a different theme. Our theme for this month is the national, but actually it's the International Men's Health Month. And so this is going to be some really great discussion on tonight. As you come in, share, but make sure that you also let me know who you are and where you're coming in from. Tag somebody that you know needs to hear this information on tonight. And I have two people that are going to be here with me today. Two men. Usually somehow it always ends up being women. So I've been trying to mix it up, but especially for this, I have two men that are going to help us with this discussion on tonight, and I'm really excited about it because I've met both of them. I think it was 2019 October in Columbus, Ohio, at a what is it called? International Academy. Impact Speakers Academy for speakers. And it was a really great time because I love meeting new people. Thus, we have this show, Let's Get Acquainted. So, I am your host, Hillary Gooden. I am your Vibrant Life Coach, certified nephrologist. And I'm an expert in helping you help your body help you live a more vibrant life by having more vibrant health. And even though I may cater mainly to busy women leaders, all people, especially men, this month we're catering to get the word out so that they can be aware that they're more aware. And I think because of the pandemic, we've had more people becoming aware of their health and being concerned about what they can do that's easy, natural, and drug free. And if you follow me at all, you know that's where I like to be. That's the realm I like to be, where you do things that are easy, natural, and drug free, if at all possible. So you may be saying, Hillary, who are your guests tonight? Well, I'm going to bring them out. I have with me Shaun Sehgal, and I also have with me Jeff Marconette. And so I'm going to bring my guests out. Please let me see. I saw some people come in, but let me know in the comments who you are and where you're coming in from so we can shout you out as well. And make sure in the comments if we say something that you agree with, even if you may not agree with it, or you may have another take on it, let us know in the comments so we can have a great discussion tonight. Not just us, but all of us. So let me go back and get my guests. Welcome tonight, Shaun and Jeff. How are you guys?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you for asking, Hillary.
I am well,
Shaun,
Hillary. Thank you for asking.
wonderful. So, we were talking a little bit before the show, and I was like, no, we don't want to talk too much. We're going to save some of this goodness, save some of this goodness for when we talking live. Because you can get, when you start talking about some topics, they're so good, and things come to your mind that you want to say, oh, I got this. But we held back just so we can have a fresh conversation. So, how do I want to start this out? Let me start out by just going over who started this International Men's Health Month and why. So, the International Men's Health Month is hosted by Men's Health Network since 1992. That was something I didn't know. What about you guys? Did you know that it's been going on that long?
I did not know that.
I had no
Yeah,
idea.
I know. So awareness. We're talking about bringing awareness. So June. I said this here. Jeff, can you read this comment here?
That one, yeah, June is dedicated to enriching men's health and wellness through a broad spectrum of national screening and educational campaigns.
Yes. And so we were talking. He asked Jeff, I think it was, asked me, so what kind of screenings? And I didn't look that deep, but then Shaun had a comment about that. What kind of screenings are most how does that prioritize for men in this state that we're in
In
right
men's
now?
health, a lot of things for men's health stem, at least some of the most common men's health issues would be prostate issues, colon issues, kidney disease, lung disease, and cardiovascular diseases.
Oh wow, that sounds like everything.
That well,
It sounds
that can cover a pretty broad spectrum of things. One of the most common things that I actually read up
most everything.
recently is that um, prostate cancer is one of the most common cancers in men, and is actually the number 3 cancer in the nation.
Wow, that's the
That's
one that
crazy.
I've heard the most of when I think of men having cancer. The first, if somebody says their husband or brother or whatever has cancer, the first thing comes to mind is prostate. You know, yeah, and so that's interesting. Let's go on to the next comment. I'd like for you to read this for us, Shaun.
The annual observance is aimed at raising awareness of preventable health problems and encouraging early detection and treatment of disease among men and boys.
Yes. And I thought it was interesting that they said men and boys because I would think as boys they're taken to the doctor by their mothers mostly, right?
Well, not always the case. I mean, Chris Rock actually said this best. There
Hmm.
are some real men out there, there are some real fathers out there who handle their business.
Okay.
And he is absolutely right. I am a father of 2, and my son is actually getting to is 7 years old now, and and
Wow.
before he was taken to the doctor by his mother, and he's had some that were taken by me. But as he's getting a little bit older here, I should probably start being the one to start taking him to his doctor's appointments as he's getting to be a little bit older now, and before too much longer, puberty is going to hit, and all that fun stuff begins too.
So what's the impact that you think that would have? And either one of you can answer this question. What's the impact that you think that would have on him? You taking him versus his mother.
Well, me personally, I think it would affect him. I would say it's more about being able to open up and talk about things, kind of the same way that
Okay.
if a little girl is having female issues, she'd probably be more likely to open up and talk to either a female doctor or her mother or sister, probably more
Yeah.
so than
Yeah.
father or brother or someone of the male persuasion.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? I'm
I
trying
think
to excuse me, but I'm trying to make sure I get to share a little bit while you guys are talking. But what are your thoughts on that, Jeff?
it's all right. No problem, Hillary. But I think that it might scar a little kid, whether they're male or whether they're a boy or whether they're a girl. I think having a opposite sex parent taking them to the doctor might scar them a little bit, add some trauma on top of their life, and just put some weight on their shoulders.
Wow. How so? I mean, that sounds really. I wasn't expecting that. How would? What do you mean?
Well, I think, like, if all right, let's say a daughter
Mm-hmm.
is having sex at the age of 13,
Yeah.
and she goes to the doctor with her dad. Is she going to be more willing to share, or is it going to scar her for the future if her father is there? She might be, as
Wow.
Shaun said, more open to her mother, more open to a female. And if she has to say those things in front of her dad, that might scar her.
Yeah. That was like, it makes me think about T.I. I don't know if you are, I think that was probably in 2019. T.I. went to the rapper, he went
Yeah.
to the gynecologist with his daughter, who was beginning, he was at that age of teenager, having sex. And he wanted to know if her hymen had been broken and put it out there, and she was, like you just said, she was scarred, traumatized, because then he was starting to talk about
It
it
could be exceptionally
on social
embarrassing there,
media.
especially if you have to talk about those kinds of issues,
Yes.
especially
Yeah,
in front of the opposite sexed parent.
yeah, yeah. And so being able to be open and honest, that's with your parent of the same sex will make it easier. So I commend you for that, um, Shaun. And you said now you're recognizing, you're aware that maybe it'd be better if you start taking your son, and that's a great thing. Let's go into the comments. We have a few comments here. So we have with us Oscar Crawford, one of my favorite people in the world. And Oscar is coming in. He said, hello from Mesa, Arizona. Hey there.
Hey, welcome,
And
Oscar.
guess who? Yes. I met Oscar on Instagram. He's a great friend. It's just amazing. So many people that I've met, some wonderful, amazing, phenomenal, kind, nice people online that I've been able to meet in person, and that makes it even greater. But we all know this guy here, and that's my other favorite person, Greg Walker. What is he
The
saying, Shaun?
big dreamer.
Yes. What is he saying in the comment there?
Every man will get prostate cancer, and that is a sad thing.
You think every man will?
I don't know about every man, but it is a
That's a big
very
statement.
common cancer to get. But the thing is, as you get older, at least I've read up on this before, but this may have changed. But certain cancers, as you get older, um, move a lot slower than others. Now, that's not to say that somebody can't get an aggressive cancer and die in a couple of weeks at an older age, but I've read that some cancers, when you get older, when you get to those golden years of upper 60s, 70s, 80s, some cancers will move a lot slower due to your health.
Yeah.
Hmm. Well,
And
one thing I know. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jeff.
Oscar in the comments is saying that he is the father of 3 daughters, and he facilitated and managed his daughter's health care. They were much more open to sharing their experiences with me than their mother. Now,
Brother Oscar, I commend you for that, sir.
Yeah.
I honestly respect the heck out of that, and I thank you so much for that. Now, I would say that yeah, some people are probably going to be more open with their father compared to their mother. Some people might be more open to their mother compared to their father. It's just a difference between people, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Oscar seems to have that kind of effect on women at large, internationally. Where he's really, a lot of the people that follow him are women who have been affected by his demeanor and his way of sharing and helping to empower, other people. It's just really amazing. So what I just was hearing in that all is, whoever is the one that you're the closest to, if it's your dad, then that would be okay to to do it with your dad or versus the mother, just so that the dynamics can be different in every family, but even between every child in the family. So let's
Yeah.
get to our points that we have for tonight. We had a few points we wanted to just kind of knock around, and number one we had. Why do men need to take their health serious? Now, who's going to go first on this one? We can create a hot seat now.
Go ahead, Shaun.
Okay.
All right.
Well, the plain and simple of it is, if you don't take care of your health, you're not going to be here long enough to take care of your business, whether it be taking
Oh,
care of your children or taking care of your family, taking care of your business, or whatever it is that you need to do here in life. You don't take care of your health, you're not going to be here long enough to actually share your story, your perspective.
yeah. Wow, that's good right there. Take care of your health so you can take care of your business. What about you, Jeff?
Hmm.
What does that comment mean? That statement
I
mean
think
for you?
that the biggest reason men or even women, I'm not discriminating here. I think that everyone needs to watch out for their health. They need to take their health seriously, just because if they don't take their health seriously, the person that is looking at them, the person that is watching them, is not going to take their health seriously. It's all about taking care of yourself in order to take care of others.
Wow,
Exactly.
that make a lot of sense right there. I'm always talking about dealing with busy women leaders because I was a busy woman leader. On a 9 to 5, trying to do a business on the side. Being a pastor in the church, different community stuff. You just find yourself in leadership, leadership, leadership. People looking to you, and you're always say, you're like Superwoman saying, "I have all the answers. I do have the solutions." But then, if when you neglect self care, you don't save some of that goodness that you're giving away to everybody else. You don't save some for yourself.
Yeah, there's a saying that you can't give away something that you don't have. So you
Yeah,
must take care of yourself. It's often portrayed in the way that someone has a cup and they can take so much and fill that cup up, and they can then give some away and still have plenty for themselves, but they
yeah,
can't give away what they don't have.
right. And so the question was, why do men? And like you said, Jeff, really we could be talking about everybody, but this is a time for awareness and prevention. And it talked about preventable diseases. Being aware of what's even preventable. Sometimes I think men don't go to the doctor or they don't do what they should or seek out solutions because of being a little afraid that it's the worst. And it may be something that's quite preventable that you let go too long.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you
You
mentioned
know,
that, Lady Gooden, because it's when I was actually paying attention to my own health one day. It was about it was about 6 years ago now when I had actually noticed a lump here on my neck, right where the scar is,
okay.
and I was paying attention to it, and my knee jerk reaction at the time was I'd been having numerous muscle knots in my neck and my back, and it was usually due to a lot of stress at the time.
Okay.
And my I was letting it go, but after about a couple of weeks, I was thinking, well, my knee jerk reaction was I just thought it was another muscle knot. But after a couple of weeks, I thought,
Hmm.
okay, maybe I should probably go and have this looked at. Well, I went to my doctor. They did some blood work, they did an x ray, and nothing really came up on either of those. And I thought, okay, if there was something really bad, it would have shown up at least on one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then they called me back and they said, well, we want to send you for one more scan. And I thought to myself, all right, let's indulge them here on this one. They might actually know, they might think something, they may know something. So I went in for a scan at 8:30 in the morning. And come 3:30 in the afternoon that same day, have a very ominous voicemail from my doctor saying, yeah, the doctor wants you to come in tomorrow to discuss your test results.
Hmm.
Oh
So,
yeah.
ominous
Your mind just
voicemail,
goes
and
crazy.
then unknown lump in the other hand. You can very quickly connect the dots between those two.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it turned out I had a not she it took the funny part of this is it took my doctor about 20 minutes to spit out that they found a 9.5 centimeter mass in my neck and upper chest, and they needed to send me back for another scan to determine how big it was because the first scan didn't show everything.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So they were able to remove it.
Actually, no, it turned out I had Hodgkin's lymphoma, and the only ways to treat that was through chemo and radiation.
Okay. Okay. So you're saying there's a scar. So are we? We're. I'm hearing we're doing better. Where that's been dealt with, or you're still having to
Actually,
deal with
yes,
it.
I've been in. Yeah, I am in remission here, and
Okay.
chemo. Actually, the chemo did wonders there, and the radiation. At one point, I thought I was going to start glowing in the dark, or I might grow a tentacle there, but no, I am. No, I actually recovered pretty quickly
That's,
from the radiation, surprisingly,
that's good.
and
Yeah.
fortunately for me, the chemo was, all things considered, I got off. I got off very easy, considering how long I was doing chemo.
Right. And the other thing, if you had, based on the comment that I was just making, if you had just put it off and put it off and put it off, that lump would have continued to grow.
That could have,
I've
yeah,
seen
I
people
could
with some
very,
serious growths, that have to be dealt with so much later. And so I'm glad you went on in, because a lot of times, if that was a female versus a male, the female would most readily go in than the man would. That's part of why they brought about National Men's Health, in order to bring about awareness and the fact that there are so many issues that are preventable or that can be early detected. That was the other thing, early detection, versus, I think it's just a matter of fear sometimes of going to the doctor for men. Not
I,
all men, but for most men.
hmm. That's an
Just that
interesting.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
So let's
I just think that men they I think a lot of men think they are indestructible. Like nothing's gonna bother them. They're there to take care of the world, and
yeah,
they don't have time to take care of themselves. But they need to understand, like I said before, you can't you can't fill anything with an empty cup. So you have to
that's
fill
true.
your cup. So if you don't take care of yourself to fill your cup, then how in the world are you going to help anybody else? And I think that's where men a lot of times are coming from, that their cup is already full, but it's really not, and they're just giving all this stuff away, and they're not taking care of themselves.
Yeah. This is so amazing. So let's go to our second point, and because I want to get, we're almost at 24 past the hour here. Um, what are the differences? And I guess, are there differences between, and for those that are listening, even the replay viewers, those that are listening, just give us your take on this as well. What are the differences between a single parent, well, being single with or without children, versus being married with or without children for men? Do you think they take their health more serious if they're married versus being single, which, if you're single without children and you're single with children, is there a difference that you're going to take as far as your health is concerned? Same with being married.
All right, I'm gonna take this one first because I think that a single guy compared to a married guy, you would think that a person, if they have children and they're married, that they would take better care of themselves. They would
Yeah.
watch out more for themselves in order to watch out for somebody else. But I'm not really sure how that works. But I know as a single guy myself, if there's any single females out there, give me a call. But I'm just saying that I think in a married situation, whether they have children or not, they still have somebody else there to tell them that they need to go to the doctor. They have somebody
Yeah.
else there that's pushing the right buttons and is trying to say, hey, we need to get this looked at. We need to get you taken care of, or you're not going to be able to take care of anybody else.
Yes.
That makes me think
Yeah.
of what Greg's wife would tell him if I could just see Greg's wife telling him, "You need to go to the doctor and have that look at." And he would just be like, "All right, honey, I'm going."
Yeah,
Right.
he would.
Yeah. That's
Exactly.
a great point there. What's your take on that, Shaun? Because you are a
Well,
single parent with children.
as I am a single father with children, I
You
I
can't
think
be
we
a
all know that.
single, you can't be a single father without children.
Well,
uh,
I'm gonna say it like this: he's a single father that is active with his children,
There you go.
life versus, you know, yeah.
yeah,
I think that straightens that out.
yeah, I try to make sure that my long-term health is handled, albeit I probably should be doing more things to take care of my short-term health, but I try to make sure that I am here. I'm trying to make sure that I'm taking care of what needs to be taken care of so I can stick around long enough to make sure my children are taken care of.
Yeah, I was talking with a guy from Arkansas not that long ago, and we were talking about health, being healthy and doing things for better health. And he said, the question is, why do you want to improve your health? Sometimes your why can make the difference. If you have a strong enough why, we hear this in business, and being entrepreneurs, what's your why? But even as far as your health is concerned, what is your why for wanting to have better health? And if it's because you want to be there for your grandchildren, well, for your children that are younger, or for your grandchildren, you want to be around to see them, grow up. You want to be in their lives, be active with them in their life. Um, Sometimes that why is big enough to make you do what you need to do so that you can stay healthy, right? And like
Hmm.
Jeff was saying about being single, you don't have anybody around you telling you, you have peace every night. You need to eat a salad or some vegetables or something, or you need to
Yeah,
drink some more water, or need to go to the gym. Go down and get some fresh air. Yeah, sometimes you don't have that person telling you that or helping you to
good
be
job.
aware that you've gotten into a rut.
Mm.
Yeah. It's much easier for someone else to point out that information to you. Say you're getting fat and
Well, we've all kind of put on that COVID-19 around the midsection here in recent months.
well, what I'm saying is it's much easier for somebody else to say you're fat and you're not really going to notice it. Check this out. I was in a car accident 17 years ago I spent 2.5 months in a coma, 3.5 in the hospital, and I've been doing physical therapy for over 19 years now.
Wow.
And I don't see the progress from month to month. I see the progress from year to year. And that's what I'm saying about a person's health. That they're not going to notice those little changes. They're not going to notice that they have neck pain every day.
Yes.
Or if they do, they're just going to say, oh, it's just neck pain. I don't need to go to the doctor. I can deal with it. I've been dealing with it for so long.
Right.
I,
Exactly.
Another point is I have a broken or broken wrist right now. And I actually broke it the day before St. Patrick's Day. So March 15th. And I lived with it for 2 months before I thought, hey, it's time. I need to go to the doctor, get it rechecked out. And they discovered that it was cracked and it had separated. And I had to get a surgery on it.
Wow.
But you see, if there would have been somebody else that would have pushed me sooner, I might not have had to get surgery.
Right.
So it's very important that we watch out for ourselves in the short term and in the long term. But it's much easier for somebody else to notice those things in the short term than it is for us to notice them.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Having someone that can see things that don't look right, or just tell you, listen, you need to take care of that now. And when you keep hearing something like a broken record, like a broken record, you're like, oh shoot, let me just go and take care of this, you know. And it was something came to mind right while you were talking, and now it's just skip my mind.
I'm
It'll come
sorry.
back. It'll come back. Oh wow. Okay. So that pretty much was that. We talked about single. I didn't know which way that was going to go. I said, man, I should have had a guy that was married on the show as well. That would have helped that one because I got two single guys here. Yeah. But I don't know what it was.
Hmm.
Jeff, in the last, let's see, was it earlier this year? I was seeing you in the gym. You were posting, showing us you were in the gym. What was driving that?
Well, the gym is a huge part of my life. Now, I'm not able to go to the gym right now, and it's killing me that I can't go to the gym because my doctors told me not to. But I have been walking every day, and while I am not walking as much as I probably should be, I am walking enough to get some exercise. Like
Yeah.
right now, I have 7,700 steps. And while
Oh,
that might not be a lot, and while I know I can do more, I am doing that. And
yeah.
like I said before, with physical therapy and being in it for almost 20 years, that after a long time, that gets very expensive. And
Yeah.
when you're going to therapy all the time, it gets really expensive. And it's much more affordable to only go to therapy, say, once a month or once every 2 weeks, and just have her show you some things that you can work on outside of therapy.
Yes.
And I often put those things into practice at the gym.
Yeah.
Now, my why is definitely I want to be the best me I can be in order to show other people that they can be the best them that they can be.
Right. Yep, absolutely. That's why I always ask myself, have you done your best? And and when you're honest with yourself, you'll say, today I did do my best, or I didn't do my. I could have done more. I could have done better, you know, and be okay with that, and just know you get another opportunity to get it done better, you know. So, Shaun, for you with your children, because they're young, and children can be really active, and expect that parent figure to be just as active. I know one night you were showing a post and you all was making fun during the pandemic, sliding down the stairs. You had some cardboard and you guys were sliding. You remember that?
Oh yes, I don't know if that was during the pandemic or not. I think that
It seemed
was
like it
like maybe a
was.
year or two before that. But oh yeah, that was. I had said I had cut open this big piece of cardboard to lay flat on the stairs, and I had moved. I've done this before at my over at my parents' house when they were even younger, and my son would slide down that thing every single time. He would just. I'd always let him go feet first there because he being tiny though, he weighed next to nothing and he could just slide on that cardboard and pick up some momentum every single time. I didn't want him to land in the wrong direction there and break a
Right,
bone or anything,
right.
but he would zip right down those stairs.
Yeah.
And I did something similar here when I moved into this house, and it was to allay the fear of for my daughter, I had to take one of our mattresses and put it at the bottom of the stairs so they had something soft to land on
Now
whenever they
see,
would
that's
go
the
down.
female. The female thinking smart, thinking smarter.
No,
Let's have
actually, that was
fun,
my
but let's
idea.
keep it
That was
safe.
my idea to help keep her calm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
But
that's.
I mean,
I
it's
remember seeing that, and it just made me think, man, when you have children, especially when you have younger children, they have so much energy, and you want to be healthy enough to keep up with them, to go out for those walks and in the park, and doing things that where they can use their bodies versus just sitting watch and playing, playing these handheld games and stuff. The kids don't play outside like we did when we were younger. Not like then. They play everything they
yeah,
can sit on
that's
the seat and get it done. And you have
that
children
was
having
another
heart
age.
disease. Yeah, you have children having heart disease and heart problems and stuff like that that just you know wouldn't
Because
be
they're most
if
likely
they
not
were.
getting out for enough exercise. That's actually one of the major issues affecting the health for a lot of people in America. And for part,
Yeah,
it's the lack of physical activity. We've got a very sedentary lifestyle.
exactly. They say, as an lymphologist, they say that at the age of 40, that's when your lymphatic system starts to slow down. Your lymphatic system already doesn't have a pump and need you to move your body in order to help it do its job. So at the age of 40, things start to slow down, and that's when other conditions can creep up on you, because it's so connected to all the other systems of the body. And it's and the whole key is movement, walking, jogging, going to the gym, or just doing whatever you would do. Say that if I tell you you should go bike riding, but you prefer to go jogging, well then you should go jogging. Do whatever it is you will do versus what you think you're expected to do. Do something to move your body. That's going to help so much. Let's see, Jeff, can you read Brother Oscar's comment there?
Yep, it says, brother, I admire you and your commitment to yourself. 3 miles is a good bit of walking. Cheers to you. I would share that I am constantly working on being healthier want
To
because
die in
I
good
want
health.
to die in good health.
Yeah,
Cool.
I'm sorry, the whole I want to die thing threw me off there for a minute.
Good.
yeah. But you know what? I was just talking to somebody about that the other day and said, you know what? Who said we have to die sick? You just die because that's the only way we all have to leave this earth. None of us gets to stay. But who says you have to die sick of some illness? I just want to close my eyes, give up my last breath when it's time, but in good health.
Well,
You
Miss
know,
Hillary, that
Shaun,
just brings to mind that just kind of brings to mind the work. One particular quote from one of my other favorite comedians, Mr. Bill
yes,
Engvall. He said, I don't want to die and be in my casket. They've sewn my mouth shut. I don't want people to come up to my casket and go, wow, he looks great.
right, right,
I want
right.
people to go up to my casket and go like, look, Jesus, he partied.
Yeah, you know, I
I
want
kind
to
of
die.
agree with them on that one. That kind of brings to the difference between being healthy and living. Got to make sure you live
Well, you
life.
can, right. You know, there's one thing say people say I want to live a long life. But if you live, that's not enough to say I want to live a long life. I want to live a long, healthy, and prosperous life. You know, because you can live a long life and live it being full of sickness in your body. Who wants to live like that for a long time? Shaun, let's read. Hey, Tina, thank you for coming in today. Tina Wilfun. So, and also let us know in the comments where you're coming in from. So, oh, she did that right there. I'm from Georgia. Go ahead, Shaun. Read this comment
Hmm.
for us.
Tina from Georgia. My partner's health is very important to me, and I am very vocal on making sure he is taking care of himself. I'm a mother of two grown young men, and I still worry over their health. To which they say, "Oh, mom, I'm
I'm
fine."
fine. You guys, you are your mothers around to still ask you about your health?
My mother is knocking on the door to 70 and still worries about my health as if I am a teenager or
Wow,
younger.
but that's yeah. And you tell
But
her, "Oh,
that's
mom, I'm
that
fine."
that's a parent thing, and it's not until I became a father myself I kind of a lot of the things my parents did finally started to make sense to a
Yeah,
point. Didn't exactly
yeah,
agree with all of it, but it started to make sense.
yeah. And then Jeff, I know you and your dad are close,
Yes,
from what
my
I
dad
can
and I
tell.
are close. My mom and I were close too until she passed away on October 21st, 2016. Was a sad thing,
Uh,
but hey, it's part of life. I'm over it now. And
yeah,
I still miss her every day. But
yeah.
this is what I'm talking about with men. Well, they might be young men, but they're still men. And they're saying, "Oh, mom, I'm fine."
Um,
The thing is, you might not be fine. You might have something that is wrong, and somebody else knows better. Just because you are a person that thinks you're indestructible, let me tell you right now, you're not.
yeah.
Uh, I thought I was until I was hit by a semi. And that kind of changed my life in the blink of an eye. And
Hmm.
there's no way I could change that. But what is your semi?
Yeah.
Sean's was cancer. And
Oh
he
yes.
almost didn't have that checked out because he thought it was neck pain when he was kind of saying, "Oh, mom, I'm fine."
I kind of was, and the funny thing is, it's actually interesting you mentioned that too, because when I researched Hodgkin's lymphoma, there was a particular symptom that only affected 3% of Hodgkin's patients, and I had had that particular symptom for at least 3 years prior to
Wow.
3 years prior to actually noticing the lump in my neck.
Wow. And so what was that, if you
Sudden
don't mind?
onset chest pain with alcohol consumption. No, I'm
Okay.
actually very serious. It was
Yeah.
there were some times where it didn't take much. I could literally just sip on a glass of wine. It could literally be like a couple of sips, like a few drops worth, and I
Wow.
would start feeling this really bad pain in my chest. There was one night where I just said, "Okay, I'm just gonna have a glass of wine. I'll probably be okay." And then
Yeah.
I was just in agony the rest of the night there because the pain in my chest was so bad, and I thought it was
Mm.
just okay. And my problem was that I have a family history of stomach ulcers and a lot of acid reflux. I got that
Mm.
on my dad's side of the family. So I thought,
Mm-hmm.
okay, maybe this is just that acting up again. And which is probably one of the main things that a lot of us tend to do with our health. We have a symptom of something, and it turns out that it's a symptom of a much larger problem versus being a symptom of a small and simple problem.
Yeah. That makes me think too about how sometimes things are misdiagnosed, because it seems like it's a symptom of one thing when actually it's something else. And that's why doctors will do so many different tests, when they're trying to find out what is wrong with the person. So let's try to move on. We just got a few minutes. Oh my God, we're almost to the end of the hour.
Oh wow.
And I wanted to talk about our last point. I'm skipping one. I'm skipping number three. Number three was, what about being an entrepreneur versus a 9 to 5? There's a conversation there. But I want to get to what we have for number four. Uh, Here is number four. Number four is mental health, question marks. Mental health with men. I got a comment
Mental
here
health.
from, who is this? Oh, Miss Charlene Sparks. She's going to be on our women's um, roundtable next week. Who didn't read last? Shaun, do you mind reading this one? I'm not
All
sure.
right. I can read. It's not a problem here.
Okay.
Greetings, Charlene Sparks, founder of Women with Vision from Greensboro, North Carolina. This has
Yeah.
been absolutely awakening. I am so grateful to see these great men standing for men's health. Women with Vision Inc. Can't wait to connect with all of you. June 20th is Father's Day, and we need to share this with as many men ASAP.
Yeah, and that's probably another reason why they chose June, the month of
Yeah.
June, right? Because Father's Day falls in June. Um, yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. That's probably why. And we also have Dr. Margaret Fournier, who is watching with us, and she's coming in from Texas. I forget which city, but coming in from Texas. And these two ladies are nurses. One was a nurse in the army for a bunch of years, and the other one is a nurse today in the hospital setting. So that is so wonderful. So mental health, guys. What do
Ooh.
men is coming from men a man's perspective? And Oscar, if you're still listening, any other men that are listening, even the women that are listening because they're married to men or about to be married, men's health. What can we say about that? We just have a few minutes, but it's such a big issue. Men's mental health.
You can
You
go
want to
Men's
ahead.
say
mental
mental
health.
first?
Oh, Jeff, go ahead.
All right. So I think that mental health is a big thing that men suffer from a lot. Now, I think a lot of men, including myself, well, not so much now as before, but I would bottle things up. I would just take things and shove them deep down in me and hide them. Like I was ashamed of the feelings, of the emotions that I had, and I didn't want the world to see those things about me. Now, I think now it's so important just because we have been, say, locked down for so long. We have been isolated for so long, and
Yeah.
we have been dealing with all this stuff. And instead of letting it out and showing other people that, hey, I'm a person too, I might be a man, but I am still vulnerable. I still have
Yeah.
feelings. I still
Yeah.
have emotions. And
Yeah.
letting other people see that is not a man's thing. And I
Yeah.
think they need to let that become more of a thing. That men need to become more vulnerable and allow themselves to just feel.
Yes. And be okay with that. Let me
Yeah.
ask you guys, do you find in your circle of men friends, do you have you are you having more meaningful conversations that touch on
It
stuff like
honest
this?
it honestly depends on who I which one of my male friends I'm hanging around with. Some, yeah, we'll talk about one thing, some will talk about other things, but the thing is, men typically tend to communicate a little bit differently than women do. I mean,
Yeah.
this is actually something that I learned on Ben Shapiro, and he was 100% right, because he was talking about how he's having discussions with his wife, and his wife was telling him about something, and he actually stopped her like right before she got into it. He said, "All right, honey, you need to tell me right now. Is this one of these problems that you want me to fix, or is this one of these problems that
Oh
you need me to
yeah.
just shut up and listen?"
Yes.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
And it's like, the thing is like, the vast majority of times among men, we don't tend to share our problems too much unless it's somebody that we know for sure that we can trust, and we know it's somebody that will give us the can potentially give us the direction that we need.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think that it has quite a bit to do with judgment and the fear of other people judging men? But do
Absolutely.
you think that is something that how can we tell other men that we're not going to judge them? We're going to listen to them. We're going to be vulnerable with them. How do you think
Yeah.
that
You know,
is?
it's like, how do you do that without saying we're not going to be vulnerable? That word in itself, I think, is probably a turn off word. When I just
It's
heard you
the
say it, it made me think, oh, men don't want to even hear that word. But
it's
but then again, how do you still get to that place where it's okay that I can, if I'm a guy and I'm friends with you and I got something really serious that's going on, you know, that's kind of emotional or traumatizing, that I can talk to you and you're not going to tell my business all over social media or somewhere, you know.
I think it may just have something to do with the the old pack mentality, which is a part of all of us here, men and women alike here, because sometimes it's like we have to kind of be, it's like, okay, I'm the alpha male here. I am going to be the strong,
Yeah, yeah,
undominatable
yeah,
one out in front,
yeah,
and it's difficult to, and that's kind of been bred into all of us there, and
yeah,
it makes sense too if you actually think about it here, because it was, I mean, it's usually the alpha male that has more access to the females back in the primate world, who was able to in
yeah,
turn
yeah,
pass that trait down along through the generations more.
Right.
versus the non-alpha males. So it's still a part. It's
And
still a part of. It's been bred into us over centuries and centuries and centuries. It's still a part of
yeah.
the. It's still a part of our genetics, and
So I'm sure.
it's
Mhm.
just it's difficult to cast that off because it's been ingrained into us for so long.
From such a young age too.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, because and that actually goes back to one of the points I was going to make about having kids, because it brought about a question that you have two kids, okay? Your daughter is walking along the sidewalk, she trips and skins her knee, and everyone's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, you hurt. Here, let me help you up, honey," and all this. But your son is walking along down the street,
Walk it off.
trips and skins his knee, and the reaction is, "Come on, son, get up and shake that off."
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Completely different circumstance.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
double standard.
Double standard. That's it. Let's read this comment from Oscar Jeff.
All right. The challenge with mental health is that men have so little preparation to know how we are affected. We tend to be comfortable in denial about mental health. Mental health must be I
Evangelize.
evangelized, even,
To
Evangelized.
evangelize to our brother.
sister
To,
group with regular intention. So
yeah, you know, we need
I
to
don't
speak about
know.
it more. And yeah,
Yeah. So, but the challenge. He's saying I think that we don't know how we're going to be affected by those
hmm
things. Just like getting up and walking off a skin knee doesn't we don't understand that because other people don't let us understand that that is going to affect us. Now,
yeah,
it's not going to affect us in a major way. It's a skin knee, but
But
the fact that we fell is kind of an embarrassment. The fact that we weren't careful enough is kind of an embarrassment, and we don't understand that that stuff is going to affect us, and other people don't let us understand that that stuff is going to affect us, and we do,
yeah,
girl.
yeah. And so his last point there that we must evangelize to our brothers and sisters in our brother and sister groups with regular intention. You know that well, at least within your own circle of friends, you know, your own circle of friends that you can begin to have some meaningful conversations that need to be had sometimes. You know, you're sitting there with this facade and you just need to tell somebody that how you feel and you want to tell your friend, but then this is not something that's been what you're used to. You know, so that's gonna I think by talking about it so much now, worldwide, more, you know, we hear more about mental health than ever before. You know, they used to say mental illness. Now we're saying mental health so that people don't, you know, maybe they just hear it differently now and understand we're talking about your mental health, not so much that you're sick, you know, but you can be well, and we need to have these discussions even more because it's a really serious thing that starts so much from back when you're young, when you're children. And man, we're at the top of the hour, and so I still have to make sure
wow.
I didn't get a chance to know. I got a chance to know you guys, so we have gotten acquainted around this conversation. And so I'm gonna have to have you back another time so we can get even more acquainted. But I wanted to say, Jeff had a book that he wanted to share, And I wonder, maybe you can show it. I can put the link, the thing up here. You can tell us a little bit about your book.
All
And as
right,
soon as I
so
find my information, you can go ahead and talk about it while I find it.
all right, my book is called Make Every Second Count, a 1,500-hour journal. And this book is an introspective journey, so it will help your mental health through everything by showing you how to live with more gratitude. It'll show you perspective and give you some long-term goals in life. Now, I'm going to be nice and give you guys the first 7 days of this journal for free. All you have to do is go to my website at www.jeffmarconetjr.com/journal. Now that is in the comments, and all you have to do is enter a little information and you can download the first 7 days of that journal for completely free. And I just want to
Thank
help
you.
other people in the world know that they can live their best life. And living their best life starts with this moment, because this is the only moment that matters when we only get
Absolutely.
one life.
Absolutely. So I want to now, because we have to close it down. Oh, I want to keep going. I want to keep going. So
I
you
wouldn't
all can
mind
enjoy
keeping
this.
going too,
Just a
guys.
few minutes here. I want to share by way of, let's see, how do I have this in here? Let's see if I can find it right quick. I've been invited to speak with the Black Business Expo USA. And I just wanted to
Congratulations.
share that information. I've been posting
Congratulations.
it. Thank you. I've been posting it on my, can you see that? Let's see. No, it's not showing. Let me see.
Well, no,
Make
it
sure I get
looks
this
like it's
right.
trying to show
Oh,
up. At least
there it
it
is.
is.
There it
There.
is.
Oh, you had it
Oh,
there a
man, I
second
took it
ago.
out. Okay, here we go. Let me go back and get that.
I do want to make
Yeah.
a quick side comment here about what Oscar said. He
Okay.
is right. Denial is not just a river in Egypt.
Yep.
Okay, old groaner there. I had to,
Good night.
that one just popped into my head.
Okay, so I don't know. Is this going to show up here? Last time. Oh, there it goes. Little delayed reaction. So this is the this Black Business. They call them the Black Business Olympics. It starts Monday the 7th, and it's going to be on. It's virtual. It's a virtual event. You can go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com in order to sign up on Eventbrite, because it is a free event. The main purpose of this is raising funds for scholarships, for be able to give free scholarships to young people going to away to college. And so that's the purpose of having this event. And on the each day for let's see, the 7th through the 13th, they'll be talking about different things. On the first day, they'll be talking about business growth strategy, business intelligence, and building your business skills. So just look out for that. It's the Black Business Expo USA. It will be a virtual event. You can sign up on Eventbrite. Just look for Black Business Expo, and you can sign up, and it's free to sign up. So I'm really excited that I've been invited to, share on there, and I'll be sharing on the last day, actually on the 13th, where it's going to be talking around church stuff. So I'll be able to put my 2 cents in at that time. Um, so
Awesome.
I'm just excited here, and I want to give you an opportunity, guys, to give us your last word of wisdom, your last word of inspiration, or your last words to our audience tonight. And I want to thank everybody for coming in and making this conversation well rounded. Not what's just about us, but you've also made some great comments to add to this discussion tonight. Wouldn't you say? Nice.
Uh,
I
well,
think our
one
guest made
comment
some
that I
great comments tonight.
oh, well, one thing that I wanted to leave for any men that are watching this, one thing to do for any man that is actually cooking for himself, your diet is exceptionally important towards your health. And one thing that
Oh,
you
yeah.
can do, a couple of things that you can do to improve your health is one, to increase the water intake, two, cut out as much of the processed food as humanly possible, three, one thing that you can start adding to your diet is turmeric. That does wonders for prostate health and many other health issues in men. So if you want to increase that, increase your intake with that in your diet, and adding some black pepper to your food there along with it can also help with the absorption of turmeric. So not only is it good for prostate health, it's also good for your testosterone count, and it is a great natural anti-inflammatory.
Hmm. Okay, testosterone count. That's a good thing, right? That's that.
In,
Right?
Absolutely. As we get older, that
So you
testosterone count
need
starts
that.
to decline slowly because we're not as vigorous as we used to be when we're teenagers. But if we
Right.
increase it, but if we actually help with the testosterone count in our diet, we can actually keep that count from declining as rapidly as it would sometimes.
Hmm.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yes. Thank you for that. We need to know about nutrition. There's so many ways that men's health need to be that you can talk about health when it comes to health. There's so many directions, and so
Well, I actually have a
nutrition is
notepad of some
definitely
other
a piece
things
of
that I was planning on mentioning too, but I just kind of winged
it.
it here
Yeah.
as the conversation
Yeah.
developed.
But I thank you for mentioning that because that's something that's easy. It's simple and easy, and it's natural. You know, and it's drug free. What you just mentioned. So I just absolutely love that. And it seems like it's a little bit of something you could do that over time can make a big difference. So that's great.
Absolutely.
Great. So Jeff, your final words of wisdom to our audience tonight. Thank you for being on.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for allowing me to be on here tonight. I know I had to move some things around to be here tonight, but I told you I would be here for you, and I want to thank you, Hillary. And this is a great thing you're doing, putting a way for men to get healthy out there into the world. And I want to say thank you to everybody who watched, like Charlene Sparks. I appreciate your comment.
Yeah.
And Oscar Crawford, I appreciate your comment too. And if there are other comments, I'm sorry, but I can't see them. And I thank you guys so much. I appreciate you, and you're helping open the eyes of everybody, especially men, in the fact that they need to be aware of their health. Because if you're not aware of your health and you're not taking care of yourself, then how in the world are you ever going to take care of anyone else? We get
Yeah.
one chance, one go around on earth. So you have to take care of yourself. If you're not here,
Absolutely.
who's going to take care of your people?
Exactly.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And also, thank
I
you for
like
having
that
me
you
on as
said
well,
we
too,
can.
Hillary. I forgot to mention that.
Yes. You know what? I'm just so thankful because we met, like I said, it was 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago. And
Hmm.
I was like, man, I gotta have somebody from that grouping of people on the show. And so when I had this, Shaun, you were the first person actually that came to my mind because when I used to go live, you'd be one of the first people that would be on my live, especially when the pandemic first hit back in 20 in the early 2020 in March, April. I was doing those 21 ways to reduce stress and anxiety. almost every night. You were right on, right on. I thought I got to get him on something one of these days. And so you thanking me, but I thank you. And I thank you, Jeff. Jeff haven't had me on his show yet, but I know one of these days he'll invite me on.
Oh, he
But
will.
I told you anytime you wanted to before.
yeah, so we got to get on as well on your show. Every second counts. And so again, I thank you guys for being on here. This was, like I said, a serious conversation, but I wanted us to have a little fun at it too. And I'm really excited for Oscar and Charlene and for those others that have come in and made this discussion real well rounded. That has really meant a lot. And here's a comment from my mom, catching on the end here, said many things other men need to know. Yes, and so this will be for the whole month. For the whole month, this is what we'll be talking about. And so, as I want to put you guys in the green room, but don't go away. I'm just going to close out the show, and then we'll have a few moments. All right?
All right,
All
awesome.
right.
Is that
Thank
all right?
you.
Okay, so thank you guys so much. We have with us tonight Shaun Sehgal from Columbus, Ohio, and Jeff Marconette Jr. from also not Columbus, but also in Ohio, right?
Pequot,
Yes, Pequa.
Piqua,
Close.
Ohio.
Pequot,
Close.
Ohio. Yeah, these are my OH
Io,
Ohio. That's
Io.
right. That's right. Okay, so I'll talk to you guys in just a few moments. So thank you everyone for being here. And again, this was our first broadcast for June. And June is the International Men's Health Month. And so I have the month booked out. We're going to have one round table of women that are going to be talking from the perspective of being wives and how wives have to help their husbands as far as their health is concerned, what roles they play. Then, with this being International Men's Health Month, I have a speaker, a guest that's going to be from Pakistan. So I'm excited about that as well. And then I have someone that's rounding out the end of the month. And so I just want to thank all of those that are going to be on, and for my two guests tonight that were on that I've had a chance to meet in person. And I just look forward to meeting some more of you that I've been seeing over the years. It's going to be a great thing, a great day when we can get together. So join me here every Tuesday night, 7, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. That's for my other show, the Vibrant Good Health Show, where I speak about all things to help your body, help you live a more vibrant life by having more vibrant health. And then on every Thursday night, I'm here at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern for Let's Get Acquainted. I'm also on Mondays and Fridays on a show called News You Can Use with Lotus Lachey, where we're talking about different things that concern your health, having guests on that also talk about different aspects of helping your health. And so that's what I'm doing this month. Be looking out for the posts. I'll be on several shows that I've been invited on. Tomorrow, Friday, at 12:30, I'll be on a show called Porch Talk. That's exciting. I'm with Dorothy Ross and her team. And then at 5:30, I believe it's 5:30, 6 p.m. with Dr. Margaret Fournier on her show, Health and Healing. So those are some posts that I'll be posting out there. When you see it live, please join in. Please join in the conversation, and I thank you for your support as well. And so, again, thank you, and I look forward to seeing you on future broadcasts. If you're interested in on this broadcast as a guest, all you need to do is direct message me, and we can have a conversation to see how can you be fitted in, and let's hear what you have to say that's helping the world at large today. So thank you. Have a great night. God bless you.